I thought we would do a nice little scrap buster design, and for that I'm going to be using the alphabet coaster. Now I'll be using a 4x4 hoop for a change, so those of you who've only got a small hoop, this is an ideal thing for you. And I'm going to be using some wash away stabilizer, my 4x4 hoop as I've already said. I'm going to be floating a piece of cutaway on top. I've got my threads in crimson, red and gold, and my scraps from all my leftover Christmas stitch outs. So these are probably not exactly the same size as given in the instructions, but they will work. So that's what I'm going to be using. And don't forget a good pair of scissors. As always, I'm going to start by hooping my stabilizer. And I'm going to float a piece of cutaway on top, and I think this cutaway is the Soft and Sheer by Sulky. I like that, I like it very much. Okay, so I'm now going to pop it into my machine, and I'm going to stitch round number 1, which is going to give me the outline. Next I'm going to add some batting, and I forgot to mention batting in my introduction, so I do apologise. I'm using scraps, and I've just cut a couple of pieces up, put them together, and now I'm going to put my main fabric over the top like so, and I'm going to stitch round number 2, which is going to stitch the whole lot down. Next I'm going to add the inner fabric, and for that I'm just going to slip it under here and just make sure that my fabric covers the inside stitch line there. I'm now going to stitch that down with round number 3. And I'm now going to remove my hoop and cut away the excess fabric. I'm now going to pop that back in my machine and stitch round number 4, which is the zigzag around this raw edge. The next colour is optional. It's for the stippling all over the centre area here. I'm using a matching thread, so I'm going to do the stippling, but you can leave this out if you've got a busy fabric that you feel will be spoilt by putting, a quilting stitch over the top. So this is round number 5. Next is round number 6, and that's going to do the satin stitch around this inner circle, and for that I've changed my thread to gold. I'm now going to stitch round number 7, which is the letter. We're now going to add the envelope back onto the front of the coaster. So I've got 2 pieces of fabric that are folded in half and pressed, and I'm going to lay the first one with the fold upwards just over halfway on my coaster, and I like to put a little bit of tape just there to hold it. That'll be removed afterwards once we turn it out the right way, so it won't get in the way. Then with the second piece, with the fold facing downwards this time, we're going to overlap it by about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. Like so. And I'm going to put a little bit of tape just in the middle here so that it doesn't move around while it's being stitched. I just want to add a little word of warning here. I've added 2 pieces of tape on the side where the 2 fabrics overlap, because if you're not careful, what can happen is as the foot comes round, it catches underneath the fabric, and before you know it, you stitched your foot to your hoop and your needle's broken. So I like to add a little piece of tape there just in case I don't have to worry about anything. I'm now going to pop that back in my machine and stitch around number 8. Okay, so that's all stitched. All we need to do now is finish it. I'm going to tape off the tape, and I'm going to remove this from my hoop. I'm going to cut around the edge close to the stitching, but not cutting the stitching. About 1/4 of an inch away, I would say. Like so. And now I'm just going to remove this piece of tape that I put in here a minute ago, so that it doesn't get in the way when I turn it out the right way. Next, I'm going to turn it out the right way. Just remove that there, it's a little bit thick. And just make sure that I push into my seam so that it all lays nice and flat. And I'm now going to press that so that the edges are all nice and neat and tidy. And there it is, a really pretty Christmas coaster. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of new stitch alongs as they come out. Thanks for joining me.